Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we are doing my third Gymshark x Whitney Simmons review. So this is Whitney's third collaboration with Gymshark, and it has been a journey. I was mentally prepared for what in the past has been the absolute worst launches in the history of all activewear for me. Like, nothing caused me more stressed, and never have I gotten so few items that I actually wanted. Which makes sense. Whitney is super popular, things sell out really quickly. But I don't know if you've checked the website recently, there was still a lot of stock, and I was able to get almost everything that I added to my cart, which was insane. I was even able to go back like a couple hours later and be like, I kind of want to try a medium in this, and everything was still there. So I think third time is the charm. They actually got the stock right. So just starting this video with a little round of applause for just an appropriate amount of stock. So I don't know if this is really just because they stocked like way more in the past, if less people were interested. I feel like I heard a lot less people were interested in this launch, or if just less people are buying in general. I don't really know what the deal is. Either way, it was a much better launch experience for me. If you guys have watched my Gymshark reviews in the past, they tend to not be my absolute favorite brand, but really it's just because their styles don't often appeal to me. I don't love the crazy like superhero seamless stuff that they tend to be launching like all the time in just different colors. So whenever a Whitney collection comes out, the designs always appeal to me a little bit more because frankly, it looks nothing like typical Gymshark stuff. I think Whitney has a great sense of style, and she always chooses such a great color palette. And in years past, I feel like the designs were kind of there and the quality was like always kind of lacking a little bit. I do feel like there's some improvements this year. So you know we're gonna be getting into all the details. This video will probably be quite long. Also, I got a ton of stuff because I asked my boyfriend to shop the launch for me because I was seeing a patient and I was unable to use the computer. I told him just get one of everything, and this man took that as literally everything. So he got a ton of stuff, but in the past, everything has sold out in the cart before. So he was expecting to lose like over half of his cart, and then the order went through and everything was still available. So I got a lot of stuff. So this is the first time I'm reviewing actually every piece, except for like some accessories. So with ordering so many things, I started opening my package and noticed that I was like missing a good amount of stuff. And I go through and count all of my items, and I'm missing like a third of what I ordered, which turned out to be okay because Ian ordered so much stuff that like I was happy to miss out on it. I first messaged Gymshark and their solution was to send me a gift card, which I was like, no, I don't want store credit. I paid for these items and I did not receive them. But then I messaged them asking for a refund, and they immediately refunded me. So Gymshark customer service is always great. I always love that about them. And to be honest, I don't really think it was their fault because one of my packages did look pretty sketchily taped up, and I have heard stories of people targeting Gymshark packages and opening them up and stealing a couple items and then retaping them. And I kind of feel like that's what happened here, which is just like awful. Like I hate people who do things like this. It's like, also Gymshark stuff isn't even that expensive. Like, have fun with your like $40 leggings. Like, okay, what do you want with that? Also, it's all on the website still, so you can't even like resell it for that much. Anyways, they did solve my problems, and I still had enough to review for you guys. Anyways, let's start getting into it. Okay, so I got all three of the Whitney high-rise leggings here from all the different collections. This is the very first V1. These are the V2s, and this is the most recent collection, the Whitney high-rise V3. So just some general differences. The V3s are just about an inch longer in the rise, so they are going to be just a little bit more high rise. Clearly on the V1s, you don't have any flat lock seams. The seams were like internal, which made them a little bit bulky on the inside. Then you got some flat lock seams on the V2, but they were kind of messy, and I saw like a lot of quality control issues on the V2s. And the V3s also have a flat lock seam, but from what I've seen so far, I haven't really had a ton of quality control issues. There have been just like the occasional little extra piece of fabric that kind of sticks out, but it's much less than the past. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's less than the V2s. The logo has also changed throughout the year. The first year, it was like a pretty yellow gold bar with Whitney Simmons in just plain text. Second year, it was this little silicone Whitney Simmons cursive, which I really did not like. And this year for the V3s, it's another gold bar detailing. It's a little more neutral of gold though, and it's cursive writing. I feel like when I line these up side by side to the bottom of the double seam, you can tell that the new high-rise leggings do have a little more to the waistband. Couple changes in the backs of the leggings too. The first ones, they did have the double seams with like the curved glute detail, but they had this kind of like almost diamond little laser cut detailing, and the seam in the back was just a regular seam. Second one changed the laser cut detailing, and they added a little internal scrunch. So it's just this little internal elastic that just helps with glute separation a little bit, but it's not like a true booty scrunch. And the third, they got rid of the laser cut detail and they kept the little scrunch detail. I feel like the scrunch detail is pretty similar to the V2s. I also wanted to mention that I've only worn my old Gymshark Whitney leggings a handful of times just because they haven't been my favorite to reach for. And on my V1s, I have some seam splitting and like potentially a hole developing, and on my V2s, you can see the seam is kind of starting to almost split as well. And this is the V3 after one wear at the gym. I think it's still holding up pretty well though. Also in the V2 collection, they launched those ribbed waistband leggings, and I just truly hated those. Those were really bad. So I think the two legging options this time are a little bit better, but always the OG Whitney high-rise legging is always the highlight of the collection. I'm just glad we got rid of that ribbed waistband because that was not it for anyone. And the new material is a 78% nylon, 22% elastane, and I cut out the tags of my V2, so I don't know if that's exactly the same, but it feels pretty similar. The fabric on all of the Whitney activewear pieces is the composition I just mentioned, but it's just very slightly brushed on the outside. It's not brushed on the inside, so it's a little more sleek. It's very thin, probably in the lighter colors. It's gonna be a little bit sheer, not the most cellulite friendly, and about a light medium compression. It probably will show a little bit of sweat. I wore it at the gym. I didn't see any sweat, but I tend to not sweat like too much on my lower body at the gym anyway. All right, let's start talking about the individual pieces. First, we have the Whitney high-rise leggings. So these have the same signature waistband they have had the past two launches. They kind of have this little band detailing, and then it comes down into a slight V in the back. It has a little internal scrunch, slightly extended crotch gusset, kind of a 7/8 length. All the leggings are definitely less than 28 inches, so not super long. It's a beautiful day to be alive on the inside. And while the waistband doesn't technically have a band at the top, it is thicker than just a double fold of the waistband. So definitely was a little bit snug. I did wear these during a workout, and I'll insert some clips, but I definitely got a good amount of rolling in the waistband, which is a little bit unusual because I don't often get rolling in waistbands because my torso is so long. It's just not something that usually happens for me. And she was just a little small. Let's try it on. Just would like to show that this is snug on my thigh. The waistband fits my thigh. So little hint at sizing. All right, so here are the Whitney high-rise leggings in the dandelion brown. And I think compared to the other ones, this definitely does give me a little bit of a higher rise. I just really find that at least in the high-rise leggings, they just run a little bit small. Like when I wore these to the gym in the other color, the waist was just like super tight. It was rolling down throughout like my entire workout, which is something I really rarely get. Personally, I would size up in these ones, and I don't think a lot of the athletes said to do that, but I lined up the waistband of the V3s and the V2s, which also definitely ran small, and the waistbands are unchanged. They're the same size. Like, I get that the rest of the fabric does fit pretty well. I don't have any extra material. It's not really too tight anywhere. Maybe about like a light to medium compression. The fabric is really thin and very stretchy, so I'm not restricted otherwise. But there's an extra lining of thick material in the waistband. It's not just a double fold over of fabric, so it's a lot stiffer and definitely can cut in. And I got a lot of messages from you guys on Instagram saying you also felt like the leggings ran really small, which is just frustrating when like so many people find that it runs small, and I feel like everyone said it was true to size, and I definitely do not feel like these are true to size. Like, I'm definitely being cut in, and my waist size can even sometimes be an extra small, and this small is snug on me. There are some possible camel problems. It's usually okay just because there is no front seam, but there is a gusset, and the little elastic here causes a little extra scooping force under here. So I found that at the gym, when my crotch gusset was ever slightly visible from the front, it kind of settled in the crevices. Personally, it's not too bad and it's not enough to make me stop wearing them, but it is possible, especially if it is a little bit snug. Very slightly brushed material. It's brushed on the outside, not the inside. And I'm noticing, especially on this color, I have quite a few like fabric dye lines. I don't know, usually those kind of like fade over time. I'm not super worried about them, but thought I would mention it. I feel like all of the leggings and shorts are medium to high on the booty scale at least. They all go above the glutes, they all curve around the glutes, and the little elastic inside the middle seam here just enhances the glutes a little bit more. So I'm glad they kept that around. Even if it kind of loosens up over time, it's still better than nothing there. And I do feel like it definitely prevents the unibutt from happening. Probably not a whole lot of cellulite coverage just because this fabric is pretty thin. Overall, I do feel like the seam quality is a little better for these. I like how on the high-rise ones, the gold bar is at the side and not in the front. I still really could do without the gold bar, but I think it's a lot better than last year's logo. And I like how the logoing and branding is just more subtle in general for these, but I think I really could probably do a medium and be a little bit better off in these just because the waistband is quite snug on me and doesn't make me feel the best at the gym when I feel like I'm constantly kind of pouring out my leggings. Oh, I also hate the literally entire novel that they have to print on these stupid tags, and then they make them cut and not the tearaway ones. Even when you cut it off, you're always left with like a little bit left, and I absolutely hate this. And it itches. Next is the Whitney mesh bra. I'm wearing it in an unbleached color right here. I always love the unbleached color she comes out with because it's just like a nice white, but a little less prone to like, I don't know, tan stains and everything like that because it's not quite a bright white. So this bra did not come with cup pads, but there's a space for cup pads. Personally, would have just liked there to be a cup pad in there. When I was working out at the gym, I wore 2 of these bras to the gym and I didn't wear them with cup pads, and I definitely had some nippage. So although there's 2 layers of thickness, I think she said in her video introducing the collection, it should be enough to not show any nippage. It's really not. I definitely had some nippage. I also did collect a little bit of sweat down in this mesh region here, and it did show, but I didn't feel like it was too bad. So basically this bra has an inner lining and then an entire separate layer on the outside that kind of wraps in the front, but it all kind of seamlessly fits together. A little bit of the mesh peeps out, but the mesh blends in with the color, so it's very subtle. There's a gold band detailing in the front, and then it switches to a mesh racer back, and there is an elastic along the bottom of the sports bra. Okay, here is the bra. I did put some cup pads in here just because I did definitely get some nippage at the gym when I wasn't wearing the cup pads. So I know Whitney wanted to wear it without the cup pads, so I get that, but then they put a spot for cup pads. And I just think it would have been a nice gesture to like include some cup pads because now I have to go like find some, you know? So I just think if you're gonna put a spot for cup pads, put some in there, maybe even just include them on the package on the side. Like I just think there needed to be some cup pads in here. So I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I actually think this sports bra is so cute. Like I really don't have a sports bra that looks quite like this, and I love the design, okay? On me, it fits really well in the size small. Last year, the Whitney V2 sports bra, I tried to wear it, I tried to keep it, I wanted to like it. I had to eventually get rid of it because in the size small, I was so squished that like I was having trouble breathing almost. Like it was really constrictive. This is perfect in a size small. The elastic down here is snug but not too tight. I have room for the girls, I have room for cup pads, so we're totally good in the size small. It's a great amount of coverage for me. It does go to my armpits over here. While I will say it fits me really well, I have seen some people where it goes really far out to the side, so just beware, it might not fit you quite like me. It has a nice scoop neck in the front, and listen, this just like enhances the girls so well. I feel like boobalicious without being like, you know, I gotta cover up at the gym like I do with some like super deep V sports bras. The mesh is actually really soft. It definitely shows sweat though, like even on the mesh, so I personally did show some sweat in this. The gold bar detailing, you know, I thought I hated it at first. I really don't think it's too bad other than the fact that this one is off-centered, which isn't the best. I noticed this as soon as I put on the mink sports bra, but my Whitney bar is not centered on my mink one. So you can see it looks pretty centered on the white one, and I lined up the edges of this little mesh region, and this mink one is definitely shifted to the left. I even put a little tape measure here, and it's 6 inches from here to here, and this is like definitely closer to the 2 than the 4. So that's just kind of a quality control thing, but I know that this color of the sports bra in a size small is sold out. So it's a racer back, and it's just all mesh in the back, so pretty lightweight. It didn't really cut into my traps or anything, which was good, even in a size small, but I got like super irritated even after just like an hour at the gym because of these little fabric folds in the armpit. And I'm gonna try on a medium in a second, which is just like a little bit too big for me. I need a little more compression, so I don't think it's a sizing thing. I just think it's a design thing. Like, I wish they didn't have this little extra fold of fabric here. I feel like it's like a cutting corners type thing. Like, it really irritated my skin. In terms of support, it's only like a light to medium. It's really not crazy supportive, but I wasn't falling out of it the entire time at the gym. So definitely some pros and cons to this bra, but I like the design. I think it's cute, and I think it's really flattering. All right, here's the bra in the medium. Honestly, not a huge difference. I think it just goes a little bit wider out to the sides, so it's a little more than I need. It may start cutting into my armpits a little bit, but this part doesn't feel super rough. Definitely just not like the most snug on the elastic down here, so I definitely would not size up in the bra. I think if you're in between on the bra, you could size down, but I think it's pretty true to size. I know I saw people sizing down like 1 to 2 sizes. I'm like, guys, like, this is insane. Just go with your normal size. So yeah, just definitely not getting quite as much lift and compression in the medium, and a little extra fabric. Next we have the cycling shorts, bike shorts. They are about an 8 to 9 inch inseam. Essentially the same structure as the Whitney high-rise leggings. I don't think there's any differences really. Still have the same logo, the same waistband. Pretty nice inseam length, and they do have a little internal scrunch on the back. All of the leggings have the internal scrunch on the back. All right, here are the cycling shorts. Very similar fit to the high-waisted leggings, so again, I feel like they just run a little bit small. Definitely very snug along here. I also feel like these are really trying to settle in the crevices a lot, so definitely is an issue on this collection, especially if you don't size up. I feel like that's better if you size up. These are very similar to the high-rise leggings, but they have a nice biker length. I like that she offered 2 different lengths of shorts, even if they're different styles. Just like the mesh shorts, they are not cutting in to my thighs. These ones might be like maybe a little bit more snug, but definitely not cutting in, and they have a lot of stretch at the thigh. So very thick thigh friendly again. Very flattering on the glutes. The crotch gusset is extended all the way down the thigh, and personally I like the length of the mesh shorts a little bit better. I know, who am I? I've been kind of straying away from like a long biker length recently. We're going back to like mid to shorter shorts. I don't know who I am, I don't. But these will definitely not roll up during your workout, and they'll stay put really well. Next, we have the Whitney mesh leggings, which I kind of knew as soon as I saw these weren't going to be my favorite. I don't know, when I see mesh inserts on leggings, it kind of brings me back to like 2010, like, I don't know. Everyone hates the word chuggy, but I do feel like it's a little bit chuggy. Like the mesh inserts, they're just not my favorite. So I just feel like the mesh, it really wasn't quite hitting the marks for me. Same style of waistband. This one only has 1 seam at the front. It does split into 2 in the back, but it's kind of like 1 straight across seam, 1 kind of arched seam. Still ends up being above the glutes, so it's okay. It has the internal scrunch, and then it just has some detailing at the back of the leg that I just felt like wasn't the most flattering. Okay, the mesh leggings, they definitely feel a little more true to size than the Whitney high-rise leggings, so definitely more true to size on these. I don't feel the need to size up. The front gold bar, it's just kind of an awkward placement for me. I like the no front seam, and the mesh detailing here, I was really worried that this would cut into my thighs a lot, as seams tend to do. And while I don't really feel like it really is squishing me a whole lot, I just feel like it looks a little awkward on the back. Like, it almost looks like this mesh detail was meant to be a booty contour. So it kind of gives you almost a little like slight saggy appearance on the back. I don't really love that. I don't love this little seam here either, because this one I feel like is supposed to be a booty contour detail, And it does not sit right under my butt, which ever since the ombre seamless, that would sit like mid-thigh on the back. Like I just sometimes don't think that Gymshark quite has the right placement for booty contours. Also, side note, I totally was not judging this girl, but the other day I was at Costco and this girl was wearing the Gymshark ombre seamless and she was wearing it with the booty contour in the front of her thighs. They were just completely backwards and I really wanted to tell her, but she was too far away from me. And I mean, if that doesn't tell you that the booty contour is not in the right placement because she was wearing it on the front, like I don't. So yeah, these ones also feel maybe a little bit shorter than the last ones. Definitely 7/8 length. Still flattering on the glutes, even though these have like a little extra seam there. Still sits above the glutes. Get a little help with the seam detail. But yeah, the mesh detailing for me is just kind of a miss. In the last of the bottoms, we have the mesh shorts. These are around a 6-inch inseam, and personally, I liked the length of these best. It's kind of like almost like a mid-length, not quite a biker, but not a super short. Buddy, you gonna bring me a spring? Pinto likes to bring me spring so we can play fetch. Bye, buddy. Oh, sorry, that was a really bad throw. I did wear these to work out in today and actually really liked them in the size small. I felt like they really worked. The 6-inch inseam, it slid up a little bit, but did not roll at all during my workout, so definitely a safe length for me. I felt like they were still flattering on the glutes and everything. My only thing was this mesh panel at the front when I was doing my hip thrusts. It kind of irritated my skin to have like 200 pounds, you know, on top of these seams in the mesh, so just be careful of that. I believe that this is the only bottoms that has the "It's a Beautiful Day to Be Alive" along just the back of the waistband. All right, here are the mesh shorts in a small. First of all, the elephant in the room, this guy front and center. You know, I just don't love it right there. When I wore these to the gym, I feel like it didn't distract me too much. Like it's a little less noticeable than a true front logo, but I still could have done without the gold bar being right here. Got the mesh details here on this color. It's pretty dark, so you definitely cannot see any underwear through it. So these are still underwear safe. This is a size small, and I really don't feel like the waist is squishing me here. Just feels a lot more comfortable than the small high-rise leggings. So I feel like the sizing on this one is a lot better. Still flattering on the glutes back here, and these really didn't squish my thighs at all. Like I really don't feel any cutting in, so really love what they're doing for the thighs here. It's pretty stretchy in the thigh as well, so I would call these thick thigh friendly. No need to size up for thighs. Fabric is pretty soft. I don't think I had any quality issues on these ones. The only thing is at the gym, I did notice, especially after I was doing leg exercises, I did get a little bit of settling in here. So I was kind of pulling them down a little bit just to stop the crotch from like settling in the crevices. Again, I think that's kind of due to the elastic seam back here. Just kind of pulls things up a little bit more. It didn't bother me like too much, but it definitely was a slight annoyance at the gym. All right, so here are the mesh shorts in a size medium. I actually think they're okay on the waist. They're snug. They don't gape when I bend over. So definitely when in doubt, size up. I do feel like I just have maybe a little bit of extra fabric, and I almost wish it was a little more snug on my thighs because it definitely rides up a little bit in the medium. So I'm wearing nude underwear. I know Whitney likes to go commando to the gym. Personally, I like underwear. If you need to know the best underwear for the gym, I have a whole video on that, so I got you covered, super in depth. Anyways, I am wearing a nude seamless thong underneath here, and although the mesh is definitely a little bit sheer, you can see my nail color a little bit through there, I still feel like it's doable with a nude underwear and it's not super obvious. The mesh definitely has a pretty good amount of color, so it's not like totally sheer. I also don't love how the text on this one, on the yellow, it doesn't quite match. It's almost like a peach colored. I don't know if it's really showing up. I also thought on the medium that I would get a little more scrunch action because it wasn't quite stretched out so much, but it's really about the same. Still flattering on the glutes though. Okay, and after I squat, you can see what I mean by like some of the like crotch gusset camel action. Definitely happened to be at the gym. All right, so I was setting up for the double squat test in the pollen shorts, and yeah, they're not even stand proof. We can see the print and I have literally not even started squatting yet. So I think we all expected this, but a little worse than I thought. I also got the tank, which is a long line tank with cup pads in it, but although it has cup pads, it actually doesn't have an elastic or anything in it. I just don't know why they put cup pads in this one, but not the bra. But the inside looks like this. There's no elastic. It's not like a workout top for me, just because I would need a little more lift. Kind of the same shape as the bra, almost like a scoop, almost V-neck with a mesh racer back in the back and a little panel detailing with a gold bar. All right, so here's the tank, and I just, I don't really understand why they put cup pads in this one, but not the bra. The cup pads are a little bit lumpy, I will say, so could have happened in transit, I'm not really sure. Subtle branding here, and as you can see in the small, I feel like I just have like a little bit of extra space, so I'm not getting a whole lot of support and lift. Like, I know this isn't a bra, but it is a crop tank with cup pads, so you aren't really meant to wear a bra underneath it, and it's definitely a light support, so I think I could even have done an extra small in this, so I think I would definitely size down in this one, regardless of your cup size, because of the extra space. Yeah, and just like some panel detailing. This wasn't like my favorite item of the collection. I just like, it wasn't really screaming my name. I think it's like great, almost as kind of like a long line sports bra, but keep in mind there is no inner elastic. So if you're a larger cup size, I wouldn't totally consider this a bra. It's really more of a tank with cup pads, and cup pads really don't add that much support. I always need that little extra layer of elastic, and the back is a full mesh. So you do get a good amount of length out of this one. I personally don't see myself wearing it, but if you're a small cup size and don't really need a lot of bra support and you like a longer line, I think this one could be cute. Then we have the oversized tee. This one is just in black. These are a recycled polyester elastane blend, so kind of like a sleek performance, lightweight, super flowy top. Little Gymshark logo in the front, I believe it's over here, and then the back has a gold bar and it says Alive in like tonal detailing. Okay, here is the oversized tee, and from what other reviews I've seen, I feel like this is kind of like the favorite item, which like I kind of get, but also like it's hard to disappoint on a t-shirt. So like I feel like the hype around it's like, okay, it's a loose tee. That being said, I will wear it, and I like how it's a lightweight, stretchy fabric. This is a size small, and it's definitely an oversized fit, kind of boxy, a little bit long, so covers a little bit of your butt. If you're shorter than me, it might cover your whole butt. So that's nice. You could even size up for like a super oversized look. Not necessary though. There is just like a tiny Gymshark logo here. I love how all of her branding is a little more subtle than most of Gymshark's stuff. Like it's in like tonal details, which you know I usually hate Gymshark branding, so. And then the back, we have the Alive. I thought this was the cutest in the mink color, but unfortunately they were sold out of that one when I wanted it. But yeah, I actually like the little detailing on the back. It's in tonal colors, so it's not too noticeable, but it's a little more than just a t-shirt. Personally, I don't work out in super baggy stuff, but I do like wearing cover-ups like this to and from the gym, just to give me a little more coverage. I don't know, I don't like walking out of the gym in my sports bra. I also got the joggers in a size small. It's kind of risky to size up in these because it's just an elastic waist and no drawstring, so that's kind of a bummer for me because I don't like my sweatpants to be tight on my legs. I do like a little bit of looseness, and you can't really size up in this without being giant on the waist. So they have little cuffs at the bottom, little elastic at the top, gold bar, and Gymshark logo somewhere like very close, and then a little embroidery on the back. Oh no, I do not know what's going on here, but I'm not liking it. So clearly it is tight down here, you know, it's my own fault for having big calves, you know, what can you do? So snug down here, and then it's like awkwardly, like, you know, we got like a little drop crotch. I don't think it was meant to be a drop crotch, but it won't go much higher on me, and we just have so much space here. So this is probably just not fitting my body type, where I have like, you know, bulkier legs but a narrower waist, so I'm getting a lot of stuff up here and no room down here. So yeah, these are a no for me. I feel like they look really awkward. High rise, no drawstring. I feel like I don't love like these two logos. I don't love the placement of them. We got some pockets. The pockets are lined with like a jersey, like basketball short material. And yeah, like I'm all down for a baggy sweatpant, but it's gotta be baggy everywhere. It can't be tight down here and then excessively baggy up here. It's kind of like a men's sweatpants. Like I don't have anything right here to store. And the biggest bummer is that they're not brushed on the inside. It's just the knit material. There's no fuzziness. And when I wear sweatpants, I want fuzziness, you know? They also have zero stretch to them. No elastin or anything, no stretchiness. So sadly, not for me. And then the little cropped sweatshirt to go with the joggers. It has a little elastic at the bottom here. Embroidered Gymshark logo. I love to see that it's embroidered and not just little vinyl stick-on because I don't like that. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Embroidered up here as well. And gold bar at the back. And unfortunately, none of these like sweatshirt material things are lined with fleece on the inside. So they're not like the softest. And they also don't have any stretch to them. I have tried a lot of sweatpants and sweat sets in my day because I spent a lot of time lounging at home, studying, whatnot, so I like to have super comfy things, and personally this isn't meeting all my marks for ultra soft on the inside and stretchy. Usually I'll take one or the other. This one has neither. Here is this guy in a small. I think it fits pretty well. I honestly wasn't even gonna buy this top. I don't love like super cropped sweatshirts. I don't wear them all that much because if I'm cold, my stomach is also gonna be cold. So I see the point of it. And I do think that they're cute for an occasion, but for me, I just don't really reach for them that often. This is a small. I'd say it fits pretty well. Elastic is snug here. It fits on the wrist. I wish they just had a little stretch to them or they were brushed on the inside or something because they're actually not super soft. Here's the inside. It's not brushed and it's just really not, it's not like cozy soft. Got a little low going up here. It's a crew neck. It definitely lifts up when you raise your arms, especially because, I don't know, these sleeves might be just like a hair short for me as a tall gal. Personally, I don't think I'd reach for this that much. It's okay, I just kind of wish it was brushed on the inside. If in doubt on this one, I would definitely size up. And lastly, we have the robe, which is a piece that I don't quite understand, but it's a loungy vibe. It's like a super long, kind of open cardigan type deal. Got the embroidered Gymshark, the gold bar in the back. Okay, so here is the robe, which is not a bathrobe, but kind of comfy little lounge piece. Again, it is not brushed on the inside, so just, you know, what the best part of a sweatshirt is when it has that fuzzy fleece on the inside. I can't be the only one who thinks that. This one definitely has a little more of a slouchy appearance. This is a small. The sleeves are a little better than the cropped. Kind of wish there were pockets or something. There's really nothing. For me, this reaches like mid to low thigh, completely covers your butt. I could kind of see this being comfy. Really more for like around the house, but then I could just get like a real robe. I don't really know what else to say about it, but definitely got an oversized look, so no need to size up. I've actually never even tried any of Whitney's lounge stuff because I was never able to get it over the years. So I've never even reviewed her lounge stuff, so I don't really know if this is a step up or not, but definitely the leggings and the gym clothes are appealing to me a little bit more. All right guys, that's it for the review. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. In general, I do think that this is Whitney's best collection with Gymshark so far. I'll be interested to see how these pieces hold up over time, just because clearly I have had some issues in the past with the Whitney stuff not being the best quality. Definitely some quality control issues here and there as well, so it's not perfect, but I love to see it continue to improve. And still the sizing was just not quite there for me, especially on the high-rise leggings, which is kind of a bummer because I think the mediums are kind of sold out now, so it's not like I could go exchange them for the right size or anything. But yeah, when in doubt on most of the bottoms in this collection, definitely size up. I feel like I heard a lot of people say size down because it's super stretchy. I do not agree with that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Got a lot of reviews coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!